Hi, everyone. I thought I might as well start the feed because we're all chatting away here on the chat board. When you come and join us, please make sure you let me know if you can. If you're watching this on your TV, and I know once it's projected up onto the TV, I don't think you can do any of the chatting on the chat board on your computer at that point. That's one thing, but if you do use your tablet or your computer, just send me a quick message and let me know you're there. Remember, I love questions. So please get your questions together. We can either answer them now if time allows, or absolutely at the end, I will answer questions. So if you want to wait to the end to send me a question, that's okay too. This class is going to be a Yin Yoga class. Now, you might need to go and grab a few things if you're not familiar with Yin Yoga. Oh, and I guess I should say, my name is Sandra. Some of you there might be joining me for the first time, but probably all the people I've seen checking in are my regular group. But my name is Sandra, and this is Northern Zen Yoga. So, back to what you need. If you have a bolster, grab your bolster. If you have any kind of cushion that's a nice, small, firm cushion, go grab that. Don't bring your bed pillow unless that's the only thing you can get, but that's okay too. And the other thing you're going to need is you're going to need maybe a belt or a strap or a scarf. If a scarf can do. If you've got one of these stretchy things, go grab that. If you've got a yoga belt, grab that. If you don't have either of those, get a belt, get a scarf, something that you can hold on to that can help you get a deeper stretch in this particular practice. And the other thing you'll want is to get yourself a small blanket. It comes in handy, and we're going to use it for a couple of things, so make sure you have something like that. Now, the other thing you want is you want socks. In this particular practice, you definitely want to be wearing socks. The reason for that is because Yin Yoga is a lot slower. It's not as moving actively as a regular yoga practice we do. So because we're holding postures for a period of time, you want to make sure your body is warm. So you want to make sure you have a sweatshirt on, that you have socks on, that you're wearing leggings that are warm leggings. You're not going to build up any kind of energy or heat. So make sure your room is warm if possible. And today I have the lighting just a little more subdued than I normally do. And you might want to do that as well. And that is because Yin Yoga is very meditative. It requires you to stay in the position for a period of time up to, you can go anywhere from 1 minute to 10 minutes. Today we're going to be doing 3-minute stretches. So while you're there, you want to make sure that you can get into that meditation, that you have no distractions around you. You don't have a radio playing someplace in the background, unless it's playing music that you like. And you want to make sure that you can relax. So that's what the props are for. The props are for helping you to get into a relaxed state. Now, the other thing I suggest is a drink. Now, I always like to have my tea handy. You might rather have your cup of coffee or your glass of water or juice. So make sure that you have something to hydrate you in case you start to feel a little bit dry. Especially if you do start to get warm, you'll start to maybe perspire, and that's a good thing because that helps you to release your toxins out of your body. But if you don't, even if you don't perspire, it's always good to have a drink handy. Now, let's see if anybody else has checked in. Hi, Christine from Virginia, Alexandria, Virginia. And Dottie, hi Dottie, she's from Raleigh. Joyce, all the way, it's cool in Florida. Let me tell you about cool. Here, where I am, for probably the last week and a half, it has been -4 Fahrenheit, or for the rest of you in the world, that's about -20 Celsius. And that is cold. Believe me, that is cold. You want to know kind of how cold that is? Go crawl in your freezer. You'll get close to it. Thornhill, Ontario. Hi, Alyssa. And of course, I've already said hi to Janet, who is in the UK. That's crazy that you're watching this with us all the way from the UK. I can't remember if it's London that you live near, but that is just amazing. And then also Susan is here. She's in the Cornwall area. And all the rest of you guys that I talked to before, you're kind of going up there now, so I can't see you. Brenda from Montreal. And Valerie from King George, Virginia. And Beth from Peterborough. And Lynn from Thornhill, Ontario. Did I miss anybody? So I'm so excited that there is such a diverse amount of you out there from different areas. I've also had a few complaints from people in the West Coast that this is kind of too early for them to be getting up and watching a live yoga class. So I'm in the process. I haven't decided what day yet, but I am thinking of doing a second live class a week. It will probably be a Friday or a Saturday. Now, I know Saturdays are kind of one of those days where if you have stuff to do, you are not thinking about going onto YouTube and watching videos. But whatever day I do it, it would probably be Friday. If not, it's going to be a Saturday. I'm going to put it out there to the people on the West Coast that watch this. I know most of you will watch it as a video later when it's uploaded as video to YouTube. But just if you can send me some feedback on that, which day you would prefer, a Friday or a Saturday, I would love to have that second class. And it would be in the afternoon, because for them and the West Coast, it would be the morning. So I'm thinking around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I know that some areas are about 4 hours. The other areas are 5 hours, depending on where you are in North America. So send me some feedback on that if you are on the West Coast, and I will see what I can do. I have to jiggle around some time with my grandson, who I babysit on occasion with my daughter's schedule. So leave it with me, and I'm thinking probably by the end of this month, we'll have that up and running. Hey, my brother is online, Jeff. Hey, Jeff. He lives in Pickering. And Lee from Connecticut. Hi, Lee. Joanne, who is also in the UK, she's just sent me a quick note telling me she's at work, but she's going to watch it later. So thank you, Joanne. Okay. So it's time, I think, to get started here. Now, I'm going to apologize right off the bat for one thing. I have got a holes in my mouth. Now, I don't have a cold, but because it has been so cold, the heat in the house has been on constantly, and it's really, really drying out the air. In the last couple of days, I've found that when I start to talk a lot, I get a tickle in my throat because my throat dries out even more, and I start to cough. Now, I was not too concerned with today's class because we are doing Yin, and Yin is, long periods of time where I don't have to talk to you. So, but just to be on the safe side, I'm probably going to be keeping halls tucked to my cheek just to keep my throat from getting dried out too much. So I apologize if you see me looking like I'm sucking on candy. Believe me, you'd never want to see me with a hack attack. You never want to see that. So let's get set up for the first posture. You can either sit on a pillow or you can sit on your mat. You can even do this, and I'm going to tell you this, but please don't rush to your bedrooms. You can even do Yin Yoga on your bed. That's because most of the postures, pretty much all of them, are either sitting or lying down. And the bed can be very comfortable. The only problem with being on your bed is that you might fall asleep during your time that you're in the stretch. So the very first one we're going to begin with is going to begin in half butterfly. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of background as we get set up into half butterfly. And remember, your half butterfly might look like this. If you're really, really stiff in the hips and in the knees, and you can't pull your heel up toward the groin, then you find the place where you can bring it to. This is important because we want to find the place where It's starting to be uncomfortable, but we're not in pain. You need to go to that uncomfortable place. I understand that it's not a desirable place to be, but it's where you begin to make a difference in your stretchability. So once you've found that place where you feel a little bit uncomfortable, just the beginnings of it, that's where you're going to stop. And that's when you're going to grab blocks or blankets or pillows, and you're going to shove them into places to help you to be able to maintain this position for the next 3 minutes. So get yourself set up. I'm going to bring my timer over here. And in Yin Yoga, we're stretching not just the muscles and the ligaments, but we're also working on the connective tissue that binds all of these things together and keeps them in a nice tight package inside of your skin. And that material is called fascia. It's a viscous, stretchy material. I liken it to saran wrap, cling wrap, that you pull and it stretches. It has ability to stretch and move and wrap around things and keep things snug. And what happens is over time, when we're not moving too much, that nice stretchy cling wrap gets more like wax paper. It gets hard, it gets brittle, it gets stiff, and because moisture has not been brought to it. So what we're doing is we're going to go into the stretch, and the stretch is going to encourage moisture to come to the area, and blood and oxygen and all kinds of good stuff is going to come to the area of your body that is under tension, and it's going to help to make the fascia a little more pliable and begin to stretch. So this is the purpose behind it. Yin Yoga is actually the yoga that helped to move me forward in my flexibility faster than anything else I did. It was a complement to my regular yoga practice, because by doing Yin, the next time I did my regular practice, I was much more flexible, and it's in increments, believe me. You don't go from 0 to bendy squishy in 2 days. It takes time, but Yin helps that time to speed up. So get into your half butterfly. And once we're there, I want everybody to just start to breathe a little bit. Just take a few breaths. Breathing into your belly. When you inhale, let your belly push out. And when you exhale, let your belly sink back in toward the spine. So let's just get that breathing happening. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're going to take another deep, deep, deep inhale. So really push the belly out, suck lots of air in, inhaling in. And on our exhale, this time we're going to start to bring our belly down toward our thigh. And when you find the place where your body tells you it's getting uncomfortable now, that's where you're going to stop. And wherever you are in that position, you are just going to find a way to support yourself gently. If you have extra pillows, you can shove those in here to help support your chest against your leg. But don't put anything there that's going to keep you from being able to sink deeper. So let's take another inhale, deep into our belly. Exhale. Let that air out as you sink just a little bit deeper. I'm going to set the timer now so that we begin. Breathe deeply. Close your eyes. Let yourself just relax. Try to not resist when you sink just a little deeper. Make sure you breathe. And it's important as you start to sink deeper into this fold that you keep your bottom touching down onto the mat. Let your head drop down if you feel that holding it up is uncomfortable. Let your chin rest down here against your chest. Take lots of deep breaths in through the nose and let them go through your mouth. Take another deep inhale. Exhale through the mouth one more time. Gently begin to push yourself back up again. Use your hands to push you up. Try not to use your back. Coming to a more upright position. And then we're going to bring our knees up toward our chest. Just to sit here for a few seconds. This is our counter pose. What this does is it helps your body just to recuperate from the stretch, giving your body a chance to come back, to contract again, without putting any pressure on it to do anything else. Now we're going to switch sides. So stretching out the opposite leg and bringing the other heel in toward your body. And you notice I didn't tell you right or left to start with because everybody's different. And I really don't know how you're viewing me. So I would prefer that you just start with whatever side feels natural to you. So we're doing the opposite side now. And the same thing applies. We're finding that place where we get uncomfortable. So on this side, you might feel slightly different than you do on the other side. You might actually be more flexible or less. So whatever your position is here, find a way to make you as comfortable as you can with the leg that's dangling out to the side and get ready for going into the stretch. So let's take a deep breath in. Inhale, lift up your ribcage a bit. And as you exhale, bring your belly down. We're not bringing our head anywhere, just our belly. Find the place where your body tells you you should think about stopping soon. And begin there. Take a deep breath in again, in through the nose. Exhale through your mouth. Keep both of your cheeks planted on the floor. And allow yourself to relax down into this. Remember to keep breathing deeply, deep, deep breaths into the belly. Exhale through your mouth. Take a deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth. Remember, we're not resisting our body wanting to sink lower and deeper. Allow it to happen. Slowly make your way back up, using your hands to help to lift up your body. Try not to put any stress on your back right now. And then we're going to bring our knees up, hug them in toward our chest. So good morning, Margaret. I saw your post there while I was relaxing down. Margaret's in Florence, Oregon. So our next posture is going to be very similar to the one we've just done, only we're going to be opening up the legs wider. So in this particular instance, we're going to start with whichever side you like, and we're going to take one leg and we're going to extend it out to the side. So instead of being in front of us, it's going to be over to the side of us. Now, how far that is opening, that's your body. You must listen to that. Listen to how your body tells you where it's wide enough for today. So you're going to start there, wherever you are. Your leg could be here, it could be here, here, here. It could be way back here. It could be even more flexible than mine and opening up the hip to this direction. Again, the other leg is going to be bent. So you might find that you need to have your leg here. So even if your position looks like this, you're fine. As long as you can feel your body stretching in this position, you're fine. If you're feeling nothing, then start to move that leg wider and wider away to the side until you feel the inside of your leg start to stretch, or maybe a little bit of a achiness in the hip joint. The other leg here, you can pull it in as close as you can get it. And then if you need to, if you feel this is too much having it hanging out here, you can put a pillow or something under there. So what we're going to do in this stretch, and it's important to keep your two cheeks, your bum cheeks flat on the floor. We're going to find the spot where we feel the most stretch in our leg and in our back. And that's where we're going to begin. So it could be here, it could be here, or it could be here right over top of your leg. It could be even past your leg. Some of us have to get past the leg in order to feel the stretch in the body. I don't recommend we go too much past the leg. if you're that flexible in your torso, simply because you could be pulling on parts of your spine that shouldn't be torqued that direction right now. So we're going to begin here. So find your spot. Take a deep breath in. And on your exhale through your mouth, lower yourself down into that place. And while you're here, you might find that things might start to relax and you don't feel the stretch anymore. Then you're going to need to reposition yourself till you feel it again. If this particular position you start in is still uncomfortable when we finish, that's okay too. Try not to lift up your cheek, especially on this side. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Using your hands, push yourself up to come up right again. And then very gently helping your leg, you're going to bring your knees up toward your chest. Just going to relax here for a few breaths. So a lot of times I'm asked, well, what am I supposed to think about or do while I'm doing nothing, while I'm in the stretch? And in your meditation. And in meditation, it's about being in the moment and preventing your mind from starting to think about things that are either stressful or are not important right now. Instead, try to feel what you're feeling. Feel your body, what's happening to it. And listen. Listen to what's going on in your world around you at this moment. So that more often you can keep yourself in the present and keep yourself in the now, you'll find that stress will start to melt away. It's only when we're thinking about what's going to happen, what happened already, and what we are going to do next or what we have to do is when we start to get a little bit more stressed out. Okay, we're going to switch sides. So the opposite side now. So you're going to find where this leg will stretch out to. And it's important to feel discomfort, not pain. We never go into pain in yoga. It's always just uncomfortableness. And then the other leg, we're going to bring it as close as we can to our groin. And then if you can't quite get comfortable here, you can shove whatever you like here underneath your leg to help keep you from feeling too much tension in this leg. Make sure you're nicely planted down. We're going to turn our body till we feel the stretch. Now, I know for myself, I usually feel it a little bit more on the opposite side that I start with, and that's because I've already been pulling the muscles in my back in a different direction. So if you're feeling that, just be aware that that's okay, as long as you don't go into a painful position, and that over time you need to start moving yourself a little bit deeper or a little bit further toward your leg. So take a deep breath in. Turn yourself as far as you can this time toward the extended leg. Inhale, and on the exhale, start to bring your belly down toward your leg. Make sure that both cheeks are planted down. Take deep breaths in through the nose and out through your mouth. Take a deep breath in, all the way to your belly. Inhale. And on the exhale, let it go through your mouth. And while you're doing this particular practice, if you feel the urge to moan and groan, let it out. That is your body releasing the tension. Take one more deep inhale, in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Using your hands, make sure you help yourself upright. Try not to force your back to do the work this time. And let's bring our knees up, hugging them into our chest. And somebody, the person is, last name is Patel. They asked me, what is the point of this? Well, probably they joined late, so they missed the point at the beginning when I explained it, but I will again. The point of doing Yin Yoga is to accelerate your flexibility. It works on the fascia as well as the muscles and the tendons and the connective tissue that's between all of those things. And the extended time that you spend into these poses helps to stretch the body with a little bit more, I don't want to say force because that's the wrong word for it, but a little bit more time spent in the actual stretch, which is very, very important in order to get the body to become more flexible. Yin Yoga is a Chinese yoga practice that they developed, and they found that it was a great complement to the martial arts, because one thing that they really required in martial arts was to be able to have a flexible body. And the body it's transient, so it doesn't want to stay flexible. It wants to go back to that state of being stiff and rigid. So we have to constantly be working on it. Now, if you're very warm, your muscles and your tendons will stretch even better. It's just like the same theory behind hot yoga. So Yin Yoga has been around for thousands of years. It has been developed by people who know what they're doing, and they know the results are very good. And I know the results are good because it worked for me. I was not getting any progress until I really started to focus on Yin Yoga. Hope that helped. Okay. Well, next, what we're going to do is we're going to leave our legs alone for a while, so you can just get your legs as comfortable as you like. And you can take your strap, or you can take your elastic band if you like. And we're going to, I think I'm going to use my strap, and we're going to be stretching the shoulders now. So we're going to go into a posture called eagle arms. Now, for most of us, and this is an important thing to understand, especially when you're practicing yin, is that there are two things that stop your body from moving. One thing is, of course, your muscles and your tendons, and especially your fascia, have become rigid and shrunk. So Yin Yoga will help to get that moving. But the other thing is that your actual skeletal structure will stop you from being able to do certain things. That's just nothing you can do about that. Once you've gotten as flexible as you can possibly get, and you find that you're hitting a wall, and the wall has nothing to do with, I feel too much stretch here, I feel I'm going into pain here to go any further. It's about compression, and compression is when the joints are locked against each other in a way that their bone won't move past bone. Trying to do anything beyond that is actually counterproductive. So most of us will not be able to reach behind, our hand behind us, and our hand, one hand up behind us and the other one behind our back, and be able to grab our hands. If you can, that's fantastic. But if you can't, you need a strap. So we're just going to lay the strap over our shoulder so that we can reach behind here and grab the strap. And with the other hand, we're going to grab the top of it. And we're going to just work our hands toward each other until we reach the point where we feel this shoulder, and probably this shoulder too, for some of you, start to stretch and start to pull. So again, the idea here is not to go into pain. We want to feel that achy stretch, and it's important to understand what the difference is. Achy stretch is you can feel muscles pulling, you can feel the joint separating perhaps in the pull, and it's tolerable. Pain is sharp, it's sudden, I can point to it, I know what it is, and it'll make me gasp when it happens. So we never go there, but we do try to find the achy stretch. So get yourself into position. If you don't have a strap or a belt, you can just put your hands in this position and try to reach for them. Take a deep breath, inhale into your belly, and on the exhale, start to work that bottom arm up a little closer and the top arm a little closer up the strap. So you're just creeping up the strap till you find your stretch. Breathe here. Try to keep your back as nice and straight as you can. Try not to be leaning over. And you're going to be pulling on the top hand to try to bring that bottom hand up your back a little further. Then walk your fingers down the strap and reposition your hand. Just breathe into it. And again, focus on your breath. Focus on the sounds in your room. And try to keep your mind from wandering off. At any time, if you feel like you just cannot hold on any longer, that this is going way too long and you're starting to feel way too uncomfortable, feel free to let go, but hang in there if you can. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Release your strap. Let your arms drop down very nice and slowly. And just let them rest. Let them rest here, allowing the muscles and the fascia to contract back again. So I see that Suzanne, has joined me, and Sandy G. Sandy, you're from Duluth? Yeah. No, don't worry, you're late. That's okay. Suzanne is from the Toronto area. Okay, we're going to switch sides. So opposite side now. Opposite hand up, opposite hand down. So I'm going to start the timer. Get yourself situated. Let's take that deep breath in. Start walking your hands up the strap from the bottom, putting a little bit of tension on the strap. And keep in mind that each side of your body is different. So this side you might be able to get your hands closer, or maybe they're a lot farther away. A lot depends on your rotator cuff in this particular stretch. Deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth. See if you can creep those hands just a little closer to each other. Breathing nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And very slowly release your arms. Let them fall down into your lap. Just relax here for a moment. So the next posture we're going to go into is going to be called modified seal pose. And I just had, it was Gomukhasana, or at least modified part. We didn't do the legs. Gomukhasana is called cow face pose. So somehow putting your arms in that position and having your legs folded looks a little bit like the face of a cow. Gomukhasana. So the next posture is going to be modified seal pose. So in order to go into seal pose, a lot depends on your back. So we're just going to put our strap away for a second. And you're going to come onto your belly. So here is where, depending on your back, you can either use a bolster, which is fairly high, or you can just take your blanket or your small pillow and you can put it down instead. We're going to place our chest onto the pillow or your bolster, and you're going to drop your hips down onto the floor. So that's going to create quite a bend in your low back. So this is where you must be very careful. I can't feel your back. I don't know what you're experiencing. So you need to be your best friend here and really try not to put yourself into pain. So start out low if you know you have a stiff back. Start out low with just a blanket folded up about this high, or a pillow that would only go about that high. And don't go much higher than that, unless when you get into that position, you really don't feel anything, any stretching at all. And then you could see if you can modify it by adding something else or moving up to a bigger, heavier cushion. For me, I'm going to be using the bolster, so I can show you exactly how you get into the posture. So we're going to come down onto, putting our chest down onto the bolster. And then we're going to let our hips drop to the floor. Our arms are out in front. And if you're able to, you press your hands into the floor and you push your chest up a little higher. So even if you're on your blanket and you can get your hands down and push your chest up higher, it will intensify the stretch in your back. So get yourself set up. We're going to start the clock. And the clock starts now. Take a deep breath in, into your belly. Exhale through your mouth. Let your belly relax down to the floor. Try to let your legs relax. You're going to want to tense up your bottom. Try to relax that too. Let your chin drop to your chest if you like. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, very carefully, you're going to wiggle yourself off of your blanket or your pillow or your bolster so that you can bring your chest down flat onto the ground. Rest your chin. Take a few deep, deep breaths here, sending the breath right to your back. And from here, we're going to move into the next posture, which is the counter pose, and that is child pose. So be very gentle with your body as you lift up your behind. And come into wide leg child pose. So open up your knees as wide as you can. Try to get to either side of your mat if you can. Here, you can also take advantage of your pillow or your blanket, and you can bring that in between the legs if you like. And you can bring your chest down and rest here. The important thing in child pose, whether it's Yin Yoga or Hatha Yoga, is that the heels must stay as close to the bottom as you can possibly get them. Putting your bum into the air in order to get your head down is counterproductive to your back. We really, really, really want to get that back stretched out. So if you can come into this position and keep your bottom low, fantastic. If you can't, as soon as you start to bring your head down, your bottom comes up. You need to look at pillows, blankets, blocks, whatever you can to get yourself into the position where your heels and your bottom stay close together. Even if you're using your pillow, it's for your face, for your head, it's not for your chest. So again, bringing your head down here, still have to keep the bottom down. So I'm going to start the timer. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale it through your mouth. Let your belly sink down between your legs. Take another deep breath in through the nose, and let it go through your mouth. And very slowly begin to walk your hands back towards your legs, coming upright again. Come to a seated position. Shake your legs out. Make sure the circulation's coming back to them. We're going to come down onto our back now. So make your way slowly down onto your back. Make sure you take your time. Bring your knees up. Flatten your back down. Bring your knees up to your chest. Rock and roll on your back a little bit. Let your head relax down to the floor. And if you feel like your head is too far back, it feels too uncomfortable for your neck, put that small pillow under your head or your folded up blanket. Let your shoulders relax down to the floor. We're going to come into the spinal twist. So in the spinal twist, you can roll onto your hip. As long as you can keep your shoulders down on the floor, you're fine. If you have to lift your shoulder up to roll over, then don't roll over. Instead, grab your block or your blanket and put it there for your knees to rest on. So your stopping point is where you have to lift the shoulder, because we want to make sure we're actually twisting the right part of our body. So keeping the shoulders down toward the mat, lift your knees up to your chest, take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, drop your knees to one side. You can roll onto that hip as long as you can keep your shoulder down. Take another deep breath in again. And exhale. You can look to the opposite direction if you like. That will help you to flatten your back down. And don't worry if you've got a gap here. If it really bothers you, stick a block there. It's got much more to do with your hip configuration than it has to do with flexibility in that particular instance. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Slowly bring your knees up. Rock on your back gently. And when you feel ready, just rock your knees over to the other side. The opposite side this time, keeping both shoulders down. And again, you can turn your head to look at the opposite direction. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Very slowly bring your knees up, hug them into your chest. Just roll on your back for a few moments, flattening it down again. And once that feels good, just stretch yourself out in a big star shape. Wide legs, wide arms. Take a few deep breaths here. Just let your body relax back down again. Close your eyes. And just try to allow your body to completely relax. Allow it to melt down. Keep breathing. Long, slow, deep breaths. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, waking your body back up again. Give your knees a big hug. Hug them into your chest and stretch yourself out. Give yourself a good body stretch. Really stretch from fingertips to toes. And then come back and hug those knees one more time. And then roll over to one side. It doesn't matter which, whatever side feels most natural for you. And just take a few moments there before you start to get up. Take a few moments to feel what you're feeling and how you're feeling. And when you're ready, make your way up to a seated position and join me. I see a question here, so I'm going to just close the class off. And if you don't want to stay for questions, you don't have to. But I really encourage you to do that. So let's just close the class off properly. Throw our hands together, generating some heat, prana, our life force energy. And as we do this, close your eyes and think of the places inside you stretched today. You may even be feeling them already. Close your eyes, place your palms over your closed eyes, and when you open them, breathe in, sending that energy back into your body. And as you exhale, palms to ceiling, sending the energy out to those that need it. Scooping up just a little piece more, bringing it back to your heart center. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed this Yin class. Yin Yoga has a lot of postures. We only did a few of them. And because it takes a long period of time to sit in the posture, and 3 minutes, believe me, is not a long time as Yin goes. Normally, most of the postures we did today, we would have been holding them for 5 minutes or more. But because I know most of you are just new to yoga or just getting your bodies back, it's still a good thing. It's still going to do something for you. No problem there. Now, the question was, how often should I do Yin in order to be able to get some benefit from Yin? Well, at least once a week, at least once. What I did when I first started yoga, because I was so locked up in my joints, is I did 3 classes a week of regular gentle yoga and 2 classes of Yin Yoga. And sometimes I flipped it. It depended on what the schedule was at the yoga studio. Luckily, the one I was going to was in Myrtle Beach, and they had a Yin Yoga and a gentle yoga class every day. So I could basically play around with my schedule for the most part, depending on what time of day I wanted to show up for yoga. So by doing that, it didn't take me very long. It took me probably about 3 or 4 weeks before I seriously started to feel the difference of my inflexibility moving toward flexibility. So if that gives you any indication, I would say if you could do Yin Yoga once or twice a week and do a regular yoga practice once or twice a week as well, you're going to be well on your way to moving your body forward. So now's the time. You got questions. I'm going to grab my cup of tea and I'm going to answer them. I love questions, and there are no stupid questions. Never. I asked a lot of stupid questions, what I thought were stupid, but they were really actually not, because if you don't know the answer to something, then you have to understand it in order to be able to embrace something. Okay. Millie, you found the second position of the legs we went into and child pose too difficult. That's not surprising. You can always do it for less time. If you're doing a Yin Yoga practice or any practice, and the instructor is asking you to hold it for this long, and that seems way too long for you, then you need to cut it back to where you feel that you're hitting the wall and you can't go any further because you're going into pain. So remember that. Now, as far as child pose goes, you can always use a block to sit on. So you can have your block underneath your bottom to help raise your bottom up a little bit higher. That's quite okay in the beginning. The key is to try to not bring your head down in order to get lower to the ground and lift your bottom up. Even if you're in a position, I'm just going to show you wide leg child pose, and you can't sit back like this. Even if you have a block here, and I'm sitting on this block, I've got it on the middle side up to help lift me up a little bit because of my knees. And as soon as I bring my head down and I have to bring my bottom up more, that's where I stop. This is where I stop. This is better than doing this, because really the other thing is nothing. You want to feel uncomfortable here. You want to feel this stretching. You want to feel the achiness. You just don't want to feel pain in your knees. And if you're feeling pain in your knees, then the best thing I can suggest is that you get a bolster. You can also use a bolster. You can put a blanket here. One of these, they come in different sizes too. So you can get skinnier ones and you can get round ones. And now I'm up quite a bit more. I've got a lot less angle happening here in my knees. And when I come down, it's the same thing. I keep my bottom planted so that I can get the benefit of the back bend, the forward back bend. I'm also getting the benefit of stretching the knees. So child pose is about two things. It's about your knees, about getting this stretched, the front of your leg here, which is what's preventing you from being able to sit back into your heels. A little bit in the shins, not so much, but mostly here. And getting your back and your belly coming down to push and stretch out the back muscles. Okay, whoa, lots of questions. Oh, Wisconsin Hummingbird, I'm glad you found me. She or he had messaged me just before the class and said that she had been watching a video, or he had been watching a video. I'm not too sure what Wisconsin Hummingbird, if you're a lady, it sounds like you are. But I sent a message quickly off and said, hey, if you're not doing anything, let's watch it live. Knee replacements. Okay. So the truth is about knee replacements is this. Oh, Wisconsin Hummingbird is lady. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Okay, the truth about knee replacements is this. You've had your knee removed and you've had a mechanical knee put in, and they've reattached all of the muscles and the tendons that would have been attached to the knee joint itself. So part of the problem that you're having is that while you had bad knees, you weren't using that joint very much. And so all of this stuff has shrunk. And some of it may have even gone toward atrophy. So you're beginning, and my husband has 2 mechanical knees, and his biggest problem is that getting the knee muscles to stretch has been very difficult for him. Now, that having been said, is that it may take time, but go back to the kind of exercises you did after your knee replacement. Remember where they had you have your leg like this and you started to pull the heel toward your body? And then you should be practicing that. If you're still stiff in your knees, you should be doing that every day. You should be spending time with that, because you need to get these muscles and these tendons moving again. You need to get the fascia that's been solidified around all of that moving again. So don't be afraid of making your knees work. It's going to be uncomfortable, and you need to be constantly pushing yourself into that uncomfortable place. The only thing I know that he has told me that I can really appreciate is that by kneeling down the metal in your knee is a lot less. It's harder on the tissue itself than it was when it was bone. So you can buy, or you can get an old yoga mat, or you can get a cheap one from the dollar store, and you can make pads. And you can buy these gel pads, which are amazing for knees. And you can use those if it's the pressure against your knee that is a problem. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that I've got a lot of comments here. I want to make sure I haven't missed any questions. Yes, yoga. Somebody asked about sciatica. Yes, actually, Yin Yoga is very good for sciatica. The forward stretch we did, that's going to really help in that area, because that's where we're targeting. We're targeting the sciatic nerve that's coming up the leg to the back of the hip. And the standing forward fold. Now, we don't normally do that in Yin because you can get a little bit of blood pressure problem, or you can faint if you've got low blood pressure. But if you do the standing forward fold occasionally, just whenever you think about it, that's when you stand up and bend forward. That also will help to stretch the sciatic nerve. Most of yoga is geared toward relieving the pressure on the nerves and the tendons that are in the greater area of your body, which is the hip joints. Yes, another person saying about the knees. Yeah, get those knee pads. They're going to make a big difference, because if you're not feeling the pressure into the knee joint, that will help a lot. Or, like I said, if you don't want to go and spend the money on those things, get a dollar store yoga mat and cut it up into strips and pile up those strips until you feel comfy. Where do you get a bolster? Well, if you go online, and I'm going to give you the name of two companies that are kind of sister companies. Half Moon Yoga is the manufacturer of this one. I don't know if you can get this pattern anymore, but they have beautiful, beautiful covers for their bolsters. And the other one is B Yoga. So it's the letter B, Yoga. Those two places for sure have them. They're not cheap, but they last a long time. I've had this one about 6 or 7 years. So if you can afford it, go for it. I did have for a while a discount code that's been apparently, I think, discontinued, and they've changed their marketing plan for dealing with small people, small yoga studios. So they're not offering me any benefit anymore to tell you to go there, but I've used the product. So try it out. If you like it, great. Now, where else you can get it? Just Google bolsters, bolster, yoga bolsters, and you'll probably get a whole bunch of stuff come up. You might even be able to get them on Amazon. Okay. So I think that's about it. I'm not seeing any more questions. Anybody else have any more questions for me? Just want to make sure I didn't miss any. Joyce asked if she knew anybody with knee replacements that could do the child pose. Most of the people that are right now messaging me have either just had or are waiting for their second knee replacement. So it will happen. I'm telling you, it will happen. I knew people before, when I had a yoga studio in another town, that had knee replacements, and they definitely could do their yoga practice. But it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do, to get this stuff back to working again. It takes a lot of commitment, and it takes a lot of discomfort, and you're going to feel the aches and pains before, during, and after. So once you get through it, though, it'll be worth it. Trust me. Thank you, everyone who's been sending me thank yous for the class. Keep in mind that this class is by donation. You can go to my website, www.northernzenyoga.com, and you can donate to the class fee. It's $5 for this class. So I'm not expecting you to pay, but if you feel like you'd like to make a donation, if this was, you got your money's worth today, then please consider donating to pay for the class. Thank you very much. Okay, you want to see me from the back with the shoulder reach. Okay, so my shoulders don't work very well. I've had surgery on my shoulders for rotator cuff injury. So I'm going to show you from behind. I grab this strap here, grab this strap here. And so what I'm going to do is just try to work my way up the strap. And I'm pulling up on the top to pull the arm a little bit higher. And then I'm going to work my fingers down a little further so that I'm getting a pull back as well as a pull down. Apologize for that. I should have probably shown that during the class. My fault for that. Any other questions before we go? I made it through the whole class without having a coughing fit. If you really, really want to ask a question, don't be afraid. This is the time. If you have any questions about Yin Yoga, this is the time. Okay, seeing I'm not getting any more questions coming up. You can always send me questions if you think of something later date through either my Facebook page, Northern Zen Yoga on Facebook, or you can email me and you can contact me through my website. Oh yes, and don't forget, if you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter is on my website. You'll find a tab that says newsletter, and you go and there's a sign-up sheet. Put your name and your address in there, and it'll come to me, and I will be sending you the next newsletter. So visit my website. Lots of stuff on there you might be interested in reading about. And I'm going to sign off. Oh, do I have other Yin Yoga videos? Absolutely. If you look at my channel selection, there's probably 2 or 3 Yin Yoga classes. I think there's 2. Then also too, I have some shorter ones that give you ideas what you can do with Yin Yoga while you're watching television, which is cool. Commercial time, make it Yin Yoga time. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody now. It's been great. I'll see you soon. Definitely next Tuesday, a live class. It'll be a hatha yoga class. I think we're going to do a little bit of a gentle flow next week. So we'll see you then. Bye for now.